The senior yearling sow class is really an interesting one to evaluate, and the champion reserve and third overall are going to be the top or the first three sows right off the top of the video. The 46 entry just comes with so much mass and power up high and through her rib and center body. She could be more elevated for me, but I think that mass and power deserves a space in this top three, and she's going to go ahead and be your reserve individual in this particular drive. The 47 entry that follows her, I think, is just tremendous in how elevated she is at her shoulder, the extension she carries behind her blade, how long patterned and level designed she is. Obviously, she's either just freshly weaned or still has pigs on her as she's still bagged down. And for the working condition that she's in, she's managing to be incredibly flexible and comfortable in her skeleton. I love the condition and shape that she's in. I think that she's ultra attractive. 48 just comes with a really soft maternal center and a brood sow type of look. She doesn't have that elevation and extension that we find in our champion, the 47 entry, but the 48 entry, I think really that mass and power deserves to be our third overall in this particular drive. As we move on down the class, the 49 entry individual that comes out next has some really good pieces. I appreciate the length of skeleton that she has. I think maybe she's just a touch too long. As you study her out of the backside of her blade, she really loses the integrity to her top line as she really wants to drop and swing down there, and consequently it pushes her hip farther out behind her skeleton and really pushes her hock just too far back and out of place. The 50 entry sow that comes out next, one that's just carrying too much condition for me. She's certainly traditional in her skull, and as you study her up there through her head and neck, but she just becomes too moderate and short coupled for me relative to some other individuals that we've used up higher in other classes thus far in our female drive. 51 is very similar to the 50 sow, very, very similar in her build. She may be more elevated, but again, the same story holds true. She's just too moderate and short coupled for me, carrying too much condition. The 52 entry, on the other hand, causes some concerns in terms of her structural integrity. She's too far forward in her blade and her knee. She wants to get rounder and steeper out of her hip and tuck her hind leg up underneath her. And for me, she just reads too flat there in through the center portion of her body. I'd like to give her more natural curvature and power and stouten her up. Great job to these individuals in the senior yearling sow drive.